Have you ever had a bad day and just when you thought that it would be getting better, it just got worse? What if I told you that in those downtimes, God can take you up so much higher than you could ever imagine? Let me tell you about a man in the Bible named Joseph. He had big dreams from God. But did his life go up? No, it went down. In today's lesson, we're going to talk about how Joseph's story can apply to our lives. I'm going to lead you into an affirmation that you can lock things in with. And then I'm going to teach you the secret joyful flip. And finally, I'm going to finish with a song that you don't want to miss because I tried rapping. Let's get into the story. So Joseph had 11 brothers and he was his father's favorite. Now, you can imagine how that went with his brothers because his father also gave him a coat with many beautiful colors in it. And Joseph was very proud of his coat. One time, his father sent him to go look for his brothers, and he got himself ready, putting on his coat, knowing that his brothers did not like him. On top of that, he had dreams. He had dreams of his family bowing down, his brothers bowing down, and he told them, yeah. And they didn't say, yay. Nope. So Jacob sent Joseph to go visit his brothers one day when they were taking care of the sheep. And when Joseph found them, they had already come up with a plan to kill him. Yeah, they hated him that much. But one of his older brothers said, no, don't kill him. Let's throw him in a pit, because he was planning to secretly come back and take Joseph out of the pit and take him back to his father. And then he went away, I don't know, but he went somewhere. The brothers then sat down to eat, and while they were eating, some Midianites came by, and they were buying slaves. And they said, won't you look at that? We can make some money with this boy. And they sold him as a slave. And they took him, the people who bought the slave, the people who bought Joseph, took him to Egypt. And a man named Potiphar bought him. Now God was with Joseph all this time. And Joseph did everything so well that Potiphar didn't worry about anything in his house. He prospered because of Joseph. That means he made a lot of money because of Joseph. And Joseph rose to the top of Potiphar's house. But did it end there? No. I have with me my colorful streamer that I'm going to use to help with this next part of the story. But I'm going to take this off. And this is going to be my pointer. Come with me. Now, this is where God wants Joseph to end up, in the palace. And it would seem that now that he's working for Potiphar, he would have a straight shot to get to the palace. And he's working for Potiphar, and he is doing good work. And Potiphar, he is prospering. But God knows that sometimes there are obstacles in our path that we can't see. But because he can see it, he doesn't take us on the path that we think that we should go on. Maybe something like this would happen. Check this out. Maybe there's a brick wall. Some major obstacle that would stop Joseph. Maybe there's a specific test that he had to take in order to get to the palace. And he could not pass the test if he went this way. And so God took him another way. God allowed for him to be thrown in jail. Down Joseph went, as if being a slave isn't bad enough. Now, because he's thrown in jail, he actually now has a straight shot to the palace. I'm going to tell you how that happened. Joseph was in prison with the king's cupbearer who had a dream. Joseph told him the meaning that he would go back to Pharaoh. As he left, Joseph said, "Remember me." He forgot Joseph for 2 years. Then Pharaoh had dreams no one could explain, and the cupbearer remembered Joseph. Joseph was brought to the palace with God's help. He explained the dreams and gave a plan to save the whole land. Pharaoh was so amazed, he put Joseph in charge of everything. I think every time that God brought Joseph down or life brought Joseph down, he pushed so much harder to excel, and he did so much more to rise up above the low situation. We can learn from that. So, for example, you are failing math and it's very hard. That was kind of my trouble growing up. I was not very good at math. Even in college, when I failed math, I got an F, and then I took it again and I got another F, and then I passed the class with a B. And I could actually help somebody else because I had to go over the material so many times to actually get it. That is what it's like when everything doesn't come easy for you. In these times when you're low and nobody's seeing you because, hey, you're not the best, you get to weight train. You get to push harder without people judging you, pointing fingers at you because nobody's paying attention to you. And so this is the perfect time to just really read the Bible more, really study more, really learn more, because it is what's going to help you to get to the top. And it's what's going to help you to stay at the top when you get there. Remember Peter? He walked on water, but then he sank. And we don't want to practice sinking. No, we want to practice staying on top of the water with Jesus. Now, let me tell you about the joyful flip. You might have been waiting for that. Well, I think Joseph had something very special. He was able to make light of serious situations. You see, he was able to make light of serious situations. You see, his brothers didn't like him, but still he told them about his dream. When he was in Potiphar's house, he made the most of it. And when he was thrown in prison because somebody said he did something that he didn't do, he made the most of it. Once I had a paper plate and I went outside and I was holding it like this. And the wind took the paper plate, lifted it up, and my sandwich was on there. I had chips and sandwich, and my sandwich flew off and left the chips on the plate. And you know what I said? I said, thank God I have some chips. And so I enjoyed those chips. This joyful flip, this mindset shift, it will help you when things are low. And the shift is focusing on something that is good, even if it is the smallest thing, like chips left on a plate. If you just focus on something really small and give thanks for that one thing, it can help you to endure. It can help you to get through the hard times. Now, say this chant with me. When I feel low, I know that I can grow. God lifts me up when I don't give up. Let's do it again. When I feel low, I know that I can grow. God lifts me up when I don't give up. Now, are you ready for the song? Let's do it. Joseph was on top of the world. He got a coat, a fancy coat. His father loved him most. Joseph was on top of the world. He had a dream with his brothers bowing down. Was Joseph proud? Did he know? Down, down he would go. Down, down Joseph. Down, 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 down Joseph. The brothers didn't like Joseph at all. They came up with a plan to make him fall. They threw him in a pit and sold him as a slave. That's how he started serving Potiphar. But God was with Joseph all the time. Potiphar put him in charge over all that he had. Was Joseph glad? Did he know? Down, down he would go. Down, down Joseph. Down, 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 down Joseph. Down, 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 down. Oh, down.
was innocent. But God, he had a plan. Joseph was placed in the king's prison there. The king's cupbearer had a dream. He said, what does this mean? Joseph told him he will be restored. He said, please remember me, but he forgot. Then Pharaoh had two dreams and sent for Joseph. God was ready to lift up Joseph. He explained the dreams and explained the plan to save the whole land, the whole land. From the bottom to the top, Pharaoh made him leader over all the land. He went up from the bottom to the top. It was a straight shot from the bottom to the top. Then his brothers came to Egypt, and they bowed down. He gave them food, and he forgave them. Yes, he forgave them. He forgave them. He forgave them.
Thank you so much for joining me for today's lesson. The next time you're having a very low day, remember the joyful flip. From Coco's heart to yours. Bye.